Everyone knows the Dior brand, and one of Dior's first perfumes is fittingly named Miss Dior. I only have a small sample, very small sample here actually, of Miss Dior, which is an Eau De Parfum. You can see that the liquid is quite clear and very small, and it has also a nice little stick for application. So this perfume has an interesting history. It's quite old. The original fragrance was released in 1947, so a few years after the war, and in a way, the year of its release, similar to another perfume, 1948 perfume called L'air du Temps, which I talked about in a different video. Similar to that is that this perfume kind of heralded back femininity that has become popular again after World War II. Women could leave the factories and go back to living regular lives. And of course, Dior being a luxury brand, and being quite a new luxury brand back then, I think Dior was only founded in 1946, so perfume coming out in 1947 was one of its first perfumes. It would be quite a revolutionary thing. So this perfume has a variety of interesting notes. I'll put some on my wrist here. So the top notes, it's very sweet right away. Top notes are iris, peony, and lily of the valley. And it's interesting because it's very sweet, but it's mostly like a fruity and of course floral sweetness. Almost not too sugary, mainly just kind of a nice fresh fruity sweetness. The middle notes are apricot, rose, and peach. I would definitely say that the apricot and peach come through. I don't think the rose is too prominent though. I think the rose is a bit understated. And the base notes are vanilla, musk, tonka bean, sandalwood, and benzoin. So I've tried this perfume in the past, and the interesting thing about it is that there's many different formulations. Even though the original came out in 1947, there's been many different reformulations over the years, and I believe the one that I have has been reformulated very recently in 2021, so only last year. And each new formulation, of course, has a few different tweaks and differences, and the main difference that I can detect is that the newer reformulations tend to aim towards the sweeter and fruitier notes compared to, say, warmer or woodsier or more musky notes. Because in general, in the 1940s, it wasn't popular for perfumes to be overly sweet, or especially not fruity. Fruity perfumes were not really a thing back then. Instead, it was more woodsy or powdery. Powdery was very popular. So there are definitely some differences. I personally haven't smelled the original 1947 perfume, unfortunately, but the Miss Dior that I have, which is an Eau De Parfum and a new formulation, I quite like it. I'm not a huge fan of sweet perfumes in general, but there is something that really grounds the sweetness, so it's not really too overpowering. I would say probably the vanilla, the sandalwood, and the musk notes all kind of come together and blend with the sweeter top and middle notes, so that there's kind of a nice warm blend. There is a warmth to this perfume, which I quite like. And it's a surprisingly strong perfume, I would say. And I don't think you would probably expect that right off the bat, considering, you know, it's pretty floral and fruity up top right away. But I think it's maybe the kind of the benzoin, the tonka bean that kind of grounds this perfume, and just makes it stick to your skin so it lasts longer. And for that reason, I would say it lasts quite a long time, probably around 8 hours before it starts to fade. which I like. I can't stand perfumes that, you know, evaporate as soon as you put them on. The sillage of this perfume is also quite impressive for what it is. You don't need to put a lot on for it to really cloud up and kind of fill up the space that you're in. It even if your nose becomes accustomed to the smell and you kind of forget about it, then you start to move around and you'll get kind of another whiff of the perfume. I don't really know how the Eau de Toilette compares to the Eau De Parfum, but it's... for the Eau De Parfum, I would say don't put too much on because it would definitely become too overpowering, especially the sweet notes. Could be way too overpowering if you put too much on. But if you just put a few dabs on here and there, I think it should be a very nice perfume to wear. This perfume, in general, I would say is pretty versatile. It's obviously a luxury, you know, perfume from the designer brand Dior, and just that alone is an attractive reason to get this perfume. You could say, oh, I'm wearing Dior, you know, just kind of show off a little bit. Or you know, people might ask, what is that delightful scent that you're wearing? You could show off a bit, oh, I'm wearing Miss Dior. But other than that, other than the obvious attraction of the luxury brand, this perfume, I would say, is really nice for wearing either during the evening or the daytime. The daytime it's good for because of those fresh and fruity notes in the beginning, and then the nighttime because as you wear it, the base notes become far more prominent. You know, the benzoin, the musk, the vanilla, and stuff like that. So it becomes a warmer scent. It becomes kind of a more, not sultry, I wouldn't say it's a sultry scent, but definitely just a warmer kind of evening scent. I am curious about how the original 1947 version compares to, say, the 2021 version. I'm sure there are some large differences, but in general, I do quite like this little perfume. I think it's something, you know, people should try at least once. Most people would probably like this perfume. Most women would probably enjoy this because, you know, it's definitely, it's stereotypically feminine. It has those floral notes, it has those fruity notes, and the fruity notes do connect with what's popular in the perfume industry currently. And for that reason, it's just kind of a nice, all-purpose kind of luxury, you know, high-end perfume. And of course, being a high-end perfume, it is going to be a more expensive perfume, you know, not your perfume that you might pick up at Walmart or anything. It's usually, the full bottle, usually around $150, $160. Larger bottles are more, smaller bottles are less. Usually not less than $100, maybe $90, but in general, this is obviously a more expensive perfume since it has that Dior brand, so anything Dior will be expensive. So, other than that, I think this is a really good perfume. I'm glad that it lasts quite a while because, I mean, I've encountered some designer perfumes, luxury perfumes, that you put it on and it's gone in an hour or two, you know, not worth the money in my opinion. But this, I would say, because it is so long lasting and kind of a rich, almost syrupy fragrance, I would say that it's worth the money. So keep all that in mind if you're interested in Miss Dior. And other than that, that's all I have to say about this perfume. If you have anything to add, you can add it in the comments. Leave a like if you liked the video, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.